Another day, another Derby profile. Today's episode is on Catching Freedom. Let's go! First up, the stats. 5 starts, 3 wins, and 1 third place finish, with earnings of $877,350. For major races, it all began on New Year's Day with a victory in the Smarty Jones Stakes. He was then third in the mud in the Risen Star Stakes, and most recently won the Louisiana Derby. Combined, he has 125 points, which is the 4th highest overall this Derby. For running style, he is a closer. How far or how close he is does depend on the race, but he's always resting behind horses and then makes one big move to try and win it all. Now, the caveat to this big move is that he does it in a distracted manner. He has enough raw talent to keep eventually on course and get the job done with a big sweep, but he always jumps around a little bit, shuffling side to side every once in a while as he struggles to get his lead legs correctly. So he's very fast, but he's also very distracted when he runs. Similarly to Sierra Leone with his diagonal cut across, except for the Louisiana Derby, which was his big change. And also, his greatest strength overall. The fact that the Louisiana Derby was where he really started to mature. None of this hop-skipping stuff. Instead, he committed to the come-from-behind strategy, came from furthest back of any horse, and then swept farthest on the outside, and ran faster than anybody, and stayed relatively on course, which is something he hasn't really done before. The only thing he really struggled with was his lead legs, but that's about it. He was still able to close faster than any other horse in that race, including Honor Marie, and win. Because it was never a question with him about how talented he was. He had a lot of talent. It was whether he could grow up in time for the Kentucky Derby and show his talent to the fullest potential. And that final eighth of a mile is one of the fastest closed eighth of a miles this Kentucky Derby. With the exception of Domestic Product, who ran in a mile and a 16th race, in comparison to all the mile and an eighth races, Catching Freedom has closed the fastest. In fact, he was a full second faster almost than Sierra Leone in the Bluegrass. It is surprising to know that despite the fact that Sierra Leone closed very well in the Bluegrass Stakes, his final eighth of a mile was surprisingly slow. Meanwhile, Catching Freedom showed real speed with his come-from-behind performance, rather than what Sierra Leone did, which was just travel faster than the exhausted group of horses. That could really mean something on Derby Day. Don't be surprised if Catching Freedom closes faster than Sierra Leone does. But now, on to the weaknesses. And it's just one big one, and it is his general greenness. While yes, he did overcome his jumpiness, he still took longer to change his lead legs in the stretch of the Louisiana Derby, signaling that he still has some nuts and bolts to still work out going into the Kentucky Derby. Now, there still is a possibility that by Derby Day, he will have even more baggage taken care of, and he'll run even better than even the Louisiana Derby, but we just don't know. He is still a growing horse with a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see what he does. I'd say overall, in comparison to Sierra Leone, he's actually less green than Sierra Leone in some areas, and he's even faster in terms of his late closing kick. So for all of that, I will give Catching Freedom a A grade. This horse is pick of the litter and is going to be flying late, and I can't wait to see it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys next time.